Captain Li Hun stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel, Soul's Pride, watching the stars through the main view screen. The ship moved quietly through space near the edge of Earth's solar system. For 3 months they had been searching for signs of alien life. Today, they found more than they expected. "Captain, we have incoming signals," called Engineer Kim Tae from his station. His fingers moved quickly over the control panel. "The signals are not from Earth. They are coming from outside our solar system." Li Han walked closer to the communications station. "Can you understand the signals?" Kim Tae shook his head. "The language is completely unknown. But Captain, there is something else. I am detecting massive ships approaching from the outer edge of our system." Through the view screen, small lights appeared in the distance. As they came closer, the lights grew larger. Soon, everyone on the bridge could see them clearly. 3 enormous ships moved toward Earth. Each ship was larger than any human spacecraft ever built. "Open a channel to Earth Command immediately," Li Han ordered. "Admiral Choi Wan needs to know about this." Within minutes, Admiral Choi Wan appeared on the communication screen. His face showed concern, but remained calm. "Captain Lee, what is your status?" "Admiral, we have first contact. 3 alien vessels are entering our solar system. They are sending signals we cannot understand yet." Admiral Choi Wan nodded slowly. "Do they appear hostile?" Before Li Han could answer, the alien signals suddenly changed. The strange sounds became clear words in perfect Korean. "Greetings, people of Earth. We are the Galactic Confederacy. Come in peace. We wish to speak with your leaders." Everyone on the bridge looked at each other in surprise. The voice speaking Korean had no accent. It sounded almost human. "This is Captain Li Han of the Earth vessel Soul's Pride. We welcome you to our solar system. Please state your intentions." "Captain Lee, we request permission to approach your home world. We have an important offer for humanity. We believe your species is ready to join our great alliance." Admiral Choi Wan leaned forward on the screen. "Captain, escort them to Earth's orbit, but maintain safe distance. I will prepare our best diplomatic team." 2 days later, the alien ships arrived at Earth. The largest ship positioned itself in high orbit above the planet. Revolt from this ship, smaller vessel descended toward the surface. It landed at the newly built International Space Center in Seoul. Dr. Park Mina waited with the diplomatic team as the alien ship opened. She was Earth's best expert on alien biology, though until today, she had only studied theories. Her heart beat fast as she watched the ship's door slide open. The first alien to step out looked almost human, but taller and thinner. Its skin had a slight blue color, and its eyes were larger than human eyes. It wore elegant robes that seemed to change color in the light. "I am Ambassador Kel of the Galactic Confederacy," the alien said in perfect Korean. "I bring greetings from Overlord Vex and the ruling council." Dr. Park Mina stepped forward. "Welcome to Earth, Ambassador Kel. I am Dr. Park Mina. We are honored by your visit." Ambassador Kel smiled, though the expression looked strange on its alien features. "Dr. Park, we have been watching your species for some time. You have recently achieved faster-than-light travel. This is always an important moment for any species. You've been watching us?" asked Agent Yujin, who stood nearby. She was Earth's top intelligence officer, and her job was to protect humanity's interests. "Of course," Ambassador Kel replied. "We monitor all developing species in this region of the galaxy. When a species creates their first faster-than-light ship, they become eligible to join our confederacy." The ambassador gestured toward a device that materialized in the air before them. The device showed a holographic image of the galaxy. Thousands of star systems glowed with different colors. Each colored system represents a member species of our confederacy. We have over 10,000 different civilizations working together in peace and prosperity. Admiral Choi Wan, who had arrived from Earth Command, asked the important question. "What exactly are you offering humanity?" Ambassador Kel's smile grew wider. "Full membership in the Galactic Confederacy, with all the benefits that brings. Access to advanced technology, trade opportunities, and protection from hostile species." "That sounds very generous," Admiral Choi Wan said carefully. "What do you require from us in return?" Simply that you prove your species is ready for membership. We have developed a series of challenges that test different aspects of a civilization. They are quite enjoyable, really. Think of them as friendly competitions. Dr. Park Mina felt something was not right about the ambassador's tone. The alien seemed too confident, almost amused. What kind of challenges? 5 different tests, Ambassador Kell explained. Military strategy, technological innovation, cultural evolution, resource management, and psychological resilience. Each test shows us whether your species has the qualities needed for Confederacy membership. And if we fail these tests? Eugene asked. Ambassador Kell's expression became more serious. Then we classify your world as a protected primitive planet. You would be safe, but unable to leave your solar system or interact with other species until you develop further. Admiral Choi Wan exchanged glances with his team. How long do we have to decide? You may have 1 Earth week to prepare. Challenges will take place aboard our ships using our most advanced simulation technology. After the aliens returned to their ship, the human leadership team gathered in a secure conference room. Engineer Kim Tae had been studying the alien technology during their visit. Admiral, I detected something interesting, Kim Tae reported. Their scanning systems have been accessing our global computer networks, but only the surface levels. They seem to be looking at our recent technological developments and current military capabilities. Agent Eugene opened her tablet computer. I have been researching their behavior patterns. They treat us like children being offered a chance to sit at the adult table. Their confidence suggests they expect us to fail. Dr. Park Mina added her observations. Their body language and speech patterns show they consider us primitive. They are not studying us as equals, but as curiosities. Admiral Choi, one thought. For several minutes, Agent Yu, I want you to monitor their scanning activities. Find out exactly what information they are accessing and what they are missing. Yes, Admiral. Dr. Park, begin a comprehensive study of their behavior, technology, and social structure. Learn everything you can from their interactions with us. Understood, Engineer Kim? Analyze every piece of their technology you can observe. Find their strengths and weaknesses. I will do my best, Admiral. Captain Lee, prepare your crew for extended operations. We may need to think beyond these challenges. Over the next few days, Agent Eugene made an important discovery. The alien AI systems were indeed scanning Earth's computer networks, but their translation systems were having difficulty with older human languages and historical documents. Admiral, they are accessing our databases, but they seem to be focusing on information from the last 50 years, Agent Eugene reported. Their AI is struggling with historical documents, especially those in ancient languages or using older writing systems. Dr. Park Mina looked up from her research. That explains their attitude toward us. If they only understand our recent history, they would see us as a young species that just learned to travel between stars. Engineer Kim Tae had his own discovery. I have been monitoring their power systems. Their technology is very advanced, but it follows predictable patterns. They seem to rely heavily on automation and AI assistance. Admiral Choi Wan smiled for the first time since the aliens arrived. So they understand our recent technology, but not our full history. They see our current military and think they know our capabilities. Exactly, Agent Eugene confirmed. Their scans show they have accessed information about our current weapons, but not our historical military strategies or battles. Then we have an advantage they do not know about, Admiral Choi Wan decided. We will accept their challenges, but we will prepare using the full depth of human knowledge and experience. On the final day before the challenges began, Ambassador Kell visited Earth one more time. He met with the human delegation in the same conference room. Have you decided to accept our generous offer? The ambassador asked. Admiral Choi Wan stood up. On behalf of humanity, we accept your challenges. We are ready to prove that Earth belongs in the Galactic Confederacy. Ambassador Kell clapped his hands together. Excellent. I must warn you, many species attempt these challenges. It's very few succeed, but do not worry if you fail. Protection as a primitive world is not so bad. After the ambassador left, Dr. Park Mina turned to her colleagues. Did anyone else notice that he called it protection, not guardianship or assistance? Agent Eugene nodded. I noticed.
How?
They plan to control us if we fail, not help us develop. Engineer. Kim Tae looked worried. What if this is not really about membership? What if they are looking for something else? Admiral Choi Won gathered his papers. Whatever their real intentions, we will be ready. We have something they have not encountered before. What is that? Captain Lee Hyun asked. Admiral Choi Won smiled grimly. 5,000 years of recorded human history, and the knowledge that we have survived everything this. Captain Lee Hyun stepped aboard the alien mothership with his team. The vessel was enormous inside, with corridors that stretched beyond sight. Strange lights moved along the walls like flowing water. The air smelled different, metallic and clean, Commander. Nix waited for them in the simulation chamber. The alien was taller than Ambassador Kell, with dark blue skin and 4 arms. Its uniform displayed symbols that probably showed military rank. Welcome, humans, Commander Nix said in Korean. I am the military leader of this expedition. Today you will face your first challenge. The simulation chamber was a vast, empty space with a dome ceiling. Soon as the humans entered, the room transformed. Suddenly, they stood on a rocky planet under a red sky. Mountains rose in the distance, and strange trees with silver leaves grew everywhere. This is Colony World 7, Commander Nix explained. Your task is simple. Defend this human settlement against our attack forces. You have 1,000 human colonists to protect and limited military resources. Lee Hyun looked around the simulated world. He could see the human colony in a valley below. It had basic buildings, farms, and defensive walls. The colonists were going about their daily work, unaware of the coming attack. What are our available forces? Lee Hyun asked. Commander Nix gestured and information appeared in the air before them. 200 human soldiers, basic energy weapons. For small aircraft and whatever defensive systems you can build from colony resources. Dr. Park Mina studied the alien commander's expression. The alien looked confident, almost bored. When does the attack begin? In 2 hours our forces will arrive. 1,000 alien warriors with advanced weapons and air support. Your primitive technology will be no match for our military might. Engineer Kim Tae examined the colony's resources through the simulation interface. Captain, we have industrial equipment, mining tools, and basic construction materials. Agent Eugene walked to the edge of the valley and studied the landscape. The terrain offers several defensive opportunities. These mountains could hide our forces. Lee Hyun closed his eyes and thought. He remembered studying military history at the academy. Ancient Korean Admiral Yi Sun-sin had defeated larger Japanese fleets using superior tactics. Chinese General Sun Tzu had written that victory belonged to those who knew themselves and their enemy. Commander Nix, may I ask about your attack strategy? Lee Hyun said politely. The alien commander laughed. Why not? Your people will learn nothing useful. We will approach from the east with overwhelming force. Our air units will destroy your defenses, while ground forces eliminate resistance. Lee Hyun nodded and smiled. Thank you for the information. Commander Nix looked puzzled by the human's calm response. Most species became frightened when they learned about superior alien firepower. Lee Hyun gathered his team in the colony's command. We cannot win a direct fight against their technology, but we have advantages they do not understand. What advantages? Dr. Park Mina asked. They think like machines, Lee Hyun explained. Their strategy is simple and direct. They have overwhelming force, so they plan to use it. But humans have fought wars for thousands of years against impossible odds. Agent Eugene opened her tablet and began accessing human military databases. Captain, I have information on asymmetric warfare, guerrilla tactics, and defensive strategies from throughout human history. Good, Kim Tae. Can you modify the mining equipment for military use? Engineer Kim Tae smiled. Yes, Captain. These tools can become traps and weapons. The construction equipment can build hidden positions. For the next 2 hours, the human team worked quickly. They studied the alien approach route and prepared surprises. Lee Hyun divided their forces into small groups hidden throughout the mountains and forests. Agent Eugene used lessons from Vietnamese jungle warfare and Afghan mountain fighting. She positioned teams to attack the alien supply lines and communication systems. Dr. Park. Mina studied alien behavior patterns from their previous interactions. She predicted how they would respond to different tactics. Engineer Kim Tae converted mining explosives into remote-controlled traps. He used construction equipment to create false defensive positions that would attract alien attention. Meanwhile, aboard the alien mothership, Commander Nix prepared for an easy victory. The alien AI systems had analyzed human military capability based on recent conflicts. According to their data, humans relied on simple technology and direct confrontation. "Begin the attack," Commander Nix ordered. 1,000 alien warriors approached the colony from the east, just as the commander had promised. Their weapons were powerful, and their armor could stop human bullets. Air support vehicles flew overhead, ready to destroy any resistance. But the colony appeared almost empty. Only a few human soldiers stood on the defensive walls, looking frightened and unprepared. "This will be over quickly," Commander Nix told his officers. "Humans are clearly a primitive species." The alien ground forces reached the first defensive line and easily broke through. Their weapons destroyed the human positions with little effort. The air units attacked the colony buildings, causing explosions and fires. But then, strange things began to happen. Hidden explosive traps detonated under alien vehicles. Small human teams appeared from concealed positions and attacked alien communication equipment. The mining tools that Kim Tae had modified created electromagnetic interference that confused alien technology. "What is happening?" Commander Nix demanded. "Where are these attacks coming from?" Li Hun watched the battle from a hidden command post in the mountains. He was using tactics that Sun Tzu had written about 2,000 years ago, combined with modern special operations principles. Phase 2, he ordered into his communicator. Agent Yu Jin led a team that appeared behind the alien forces. They attacked the supply vehicles and command units, and disappeared back into the forest before the aliens could respond. Dr. Park Mina had predicted correctly. The aliens became confused when their simple strategy failed. They began making mistakes, sending forces in wrong directions and leaving important positions undefed. The alien air units found themselves flying into carefully planned ambushes. Human teams with modified mining lasers shot down several aircraft from hidden mountain positions. "Impossible," Commander Nix said, watching the battle reports. "How are primitive humans defeating our superior technology?" Aboard the Soul's Pride, Admiral Choi Wan monitored the challenge through long-range sensors. He smiled as he watched the alien confusion grow. "The boy learned his lessons well," the Admiral said to himself. Back in the simulation, Li Hain prepared his final move. He had studied the Battle of Cannae, where Hannibal had defeated a larger Roman army by surrounding them. He also remembered Korean turtle ship tactics that used enemy expectations against them. "All teams execute encirclement pattern," Li Han commanded. The scattered human forces suddenly moved in coordination. While the aliens were focused on attacking the seemingly weak colony defenses, human teams had positioned themselves around the entire alien army. The aliens found themselves surrounded. Their advanced weapons were powerful, but they could not shoot in all directions at once. Their air support was grounded by continuous attacks from hidden positions. Engineer Kim Tae activated his final surprise. The mining equipment had been digging tunnels under the alien positions for the past hour. When the explosives detonated, the ground collapsed beneath half the alien army. Commander Nix stared at the tactical display in shock. His superior force was trapped, confused, and taking heavy casualties from an enemy that should have been helpless. "How did they know our attack plan?" he demanded. His aide checked the communication systems. "Sir, they asked you directly, and you told them, but that information should not have helped them. They have primitive technology." "Sir, I think their tactics are not primitive. They are using strategies I do not understand." In the simulation, Li Han made his final move. Instead of destroying the remaining alien forces, he offered them surrender terms. This confused the aliens even more, as they had expected humans to fight to the death like animals. "Commander Nix," Li Han said over the communication channel, Your forces are surrounded and cut off from supply. You have fought bravely, but continuing will only cause unnecessary casualties. I offer honorable surrender." Commander Nix looked around the chamber. The simulation showed his forces trapped and demoralized. According to his own military doctrine, he should accept the surrender terms. "I accept," the alien commander said quietly. The simulation ended. The rocky planet and alien forces disappeared. Leaving only the empty chamber, Commander Nix stared at Lihian with new respect and growing concern. "How did you defeat superior technology with primitive weapons?" Lihian smiled politely. "Used the same methods humans have always used. We studied our enemy, used our environment, and applied lessons learned from thousands of years of warfare." "Thousands of years," Commander Nix repeated. "But you only achieved spaceflight recently." "Spaceflight is new for us," Dr. Parkmina explained. "But humans have been fighting wars since the beginning of our civilization. We have had many teachers." Eugene added, "Every human military officer studies battles from throughout our history. We learned from victories and defeats that happened thousands of years ago." Engineer Kim Tae showed the alley. Engineer Kim Tae followed the alien escort through different corridors of the mothership. These halls were filled with machines that hummed and sparkled with unknown energy. Strange symbols moved across transparent screens that floated in the air. The technology laboratory was 3 times larger than any engineering facility on Earth. Workstations filled the space, each equipped with tools that seemed to bend light and manipulate matter directly. In the center of the room stood a tall alien with silver skin and 6 arms. "I am Chief Engineer Zole," the alien announced. "I will oversee your second challenge. This test measures your species' ability to innovate under pressure." Dr. Parkmina looked around the laboratory with wonder and concern. Every surface displayed information in alien languages. The tools appeared far more advanced than anything humans had ever created. "What exactly must we do?" Kim Tae asked Chief Engineer Zole, gestured toward a display that showed a harsh alien world.
Ow.
The planet's surface was covered with ice and rocks. Violent storms raged across the landscape, and the atmosphere glowed with dangerous radiation. "This is Mining Station Omega," Zole explained. "It provides rare minerals for the Confederacy. But the power systems have failed, and the station will be destroyed in 6 hours, if not repaired." The display changed to show the interior of the mining station. Hundreds of alien workers moved through dark corridors, their life support systems failing. Emergency lights flashed red warnings throughout the facility. "Your task is to design a new power system using only materials available on the planet. The system must provide energy for life support, mining operations, and defensive shields against radiation storms." Agent Eugene studied the technical specifications that appeared in the air. "What materials are available?" "Basic metals, crystalline formations, and geothermal energy from the planet's core. Nothing sophisticated. Most species cannot solve this problem with such primitive resources." Kim Tae smiled slightly. The alien's confident tone reminded him of professors who thought students could not understand advanced concepts. "May we examine the failed power systems? Of course, though I doubt you will learn anything useful." The humans spent the first hour studying the damaged alien technology. The power systems were incredibly advanced, but relied completely on artificial components that could not be replaced with local materials. They built everything to depend on manufactured parts, Kim Tae observed. When those parts failed, the entire system became useless. Dr. Parkmina examined the planet's geological data. The geothermal energy is substantial, but the aliens were not using it efficiently. They only accessed surface heat sources. Agent Yu Jin reviewed the station's layout and discovered something interesting. The mining tunnels follow a specific pattern. It looks like they were following the easiest excavation routes, not the most logical ones. Kim Tae opened his tablet and began accessing human engineering databases. Chief Engineer Zoe watched with amusement as the humans scrolled through what appeared to be primitive technical documents. "Are you seriously consulting such basic information?" Zole asked. "Your species only achieved spaceflight recently?" "Yes. But humans have been solving energy problems for a very long time, Kim Tae replied politely. He found what he was looking for in historical records of Korean ondol heating systems. These ancient designs used underground channels to distribute heat efficiently throughout buildings. The principles were thousands of years old, but still effective. Dr. Park, look at this. Kim Tae showed her the ondol designs. What if we combine this with geothermal principles? Dr. Park Mina studied the ancient Korean heating system. Brilliant. We can create a network of channels that brings heat from deep underground to the surface. But we need more than just heating. Agent Eugene had found something else in the historical databases. What about Tesla's work with electromagnetic fields? Could we use the geothermal energy to generate electrical power? Kim Tae's eyes lit up. Yes, and we can combine that with principles from Roman aqueduct engineering to create distribution systems. Chief Engineer Zoll moved closer to observe the human discussion. He could not understand how ancient heating systems and water's distribution could solve an advanced power generation problem. Kim Tae began designing the new power system on his tablet. He used the basic principles of ondol heating to create efficient thermal distribution. He applied Tesla's electromagnetic theories to convert heat into electrical energy. He borrowed Roman engineering techniques to build distribution networks that required no manufactured components. But we also need to handle the radiation storms, Dr. Park Mina pointed out. Agent Eugene had been researching that problem too. Native American earth lodge construction used natural materials to create excellent insulation. We could adapt those techniques for radiation shielding. Kim Tae integrated all these concepts into a single design. The power system would use deep geothermal energy channeled through ondol-style underground networks. Tesla-inspired generators would convert thermal energy to electricity. Roman-style aqueduct principles would distribute power throughout the station. Native American earth lodge techniques would provide radiation protection. Chief Engineer Zoel examined the human design with growing confusion. This system uses no advanced components. How can primitive techniques generate sufficient power? Because they are not primitive, Kim Tae explained. These are proven solutions that humans have refined over thousands of years, just scaled them up and combined them. Surely you need manufactured components for power generation. Dr. Park Mina shook her head. Humans learned to generate power using natural materials long before we had factories, just never stopped improving those methods. Kim Tae presented his complete design to Chief Engineer Zoll. The system would tap geothermal energy from deep underground using drilling techniques adapted from ancient well-digging methods. The heat would be channeled through carefully designed underground networks based on ondol principles at distribution points throughout the station. The thermal energy would pass through electromagnetic field generators based on Tesla's work. These generators used metal coils and crystal formations available on the planet to convert heat into electrical power. The electrical distribution system followed Roman aqueduct engineering principles using gravity and pressure to move energy efficiently throughout the facility. The system required no pumps or artificial components for radiation protection. The design included shield walls built using Native American earth lodge techniques. These walls used natural materials in specific combinations that blocked harmful radiation while allowing heat transfer. Chief Engineer Zoll studied the design for a long time. "This is not how power systems work," he said finally. "This is how human power systems work," Kim Tae replied. "We build on what our ancestors learned." Agent Eugene activated the holographic simulator to demonstrate the design. The system appeared as a three-dimensional model that showed energy flowing through underground channels, up to generators, and out through distribution networks. "The efficiency rating is higher than your original system," she reported. "It uses only materials available on the planet." Chief Engineer Zoel checked the calculations himself. The human design was not only functional, but superior to standard Confederacy power systems. "How is this possible?" Dr. Park Mina explained. "Human engineering is cumulative. We do not start over with each generation. We build on everything our species has ever learned." "Every human engineer studies thousands of years of previous work," Kim Tae added. We learn from successes and failures going back to the beginning of our civilization. Agent Eugene showed the alien engineer examples. From human history, our ancestors solved energy problems in deserts, mountains, forests, and Arctic regions. They learned to work with natural forces instead of fighting against them. Chief Engineer Zola examined the historical examples with growing amazement. Had been developing sophisticated engineering solutions for millennia. Their technology was not primitive, but highly evolved. But you only recently achieved spaceflight, Zola protested. Spaceflight is just our newest engineering challenge, Kimte said. The principles we use are very old. We apply ancient wisdom to new problems. The alien AI systems aboard the mothership detected the historical engineering data and began analyzing it immediately. What they found sent alarm signals to Overlord Vex and the Confederacy. Leadership. Humans possess thousands of years of accumulated engineering knowledge. Their innovations were not random discoveries, but systematic improvements built on previous generations of work. Every human engineer had access to the entire history of human problem-solving. Chief Engineer Zola asked to see more examples. Agent Eugene showed him medieval Islamic mathematics that enabled precise engineering calculations. Dr. Park Mina displayed Chinese inventions that revolutionized manufacturing. Kimte presented Greek mechanical principles that still influenced modern design. Your species has been continuously developing technology for thousands of years, Zol said slowly. Yes, and we never throw away useful knowledge, Kimte confirmed. Everything our ancestors learned becomes part of what we know today. The alien engineer realized the implications. If humans could adapt ancient engineering principles to solve advanced power generation, Dr. Park Mina entered the cultural simulation chamber with her team. This room was different from the others. The walls showed images of countless alien species from across the galaxy. Some looked almost human, while others were completely strange. With multiple heads or crystal-like bodies, Social Coordinator Vel waited for them in the center of the chamber. This alien was shorter than the others, with purple skin and large golden eyes. Its voice was soft and musical when it spoke. "Welcome to the third challenge," Coordinator Vel said. "I oversee cultural development for new member species. You must prove that humans can create a functioning society with other species." The chamber transformed around them. Suddenly they stood in a large valley surrounded by mountains. Rivers flowed through green fields and forests covered the hillsides. It looked like a perfect place to build a new world. "This is Colony Planet Harmony," Coordinator Vel explained. 5 different species will settle here together. Your task is to establish a government and social system that keeps everyone happy and productive. Agent Eugene studied the planets. Geography. What species will be living here? The coordinator gestured and 5 different groups of beings appeared in the valley. The first group looked like tall humans with blue skin. The second group resembled large cats that walked on 2 legs. The third group were small creatures with many arms and tentacles. The fourth group had rock-like skin and moved very slowly. The fifth group were the humans. Each species has different needs, customs, and abilities, Coordinator Vel explained. The blue-skinned Altarians need cold temperatures and prefer individual work. The cat-like felons are hunters who value strength and courage. The tentacled Polypians love art and music, but fear loud noises. The rock-skinned Lithans think slowly, but remember everything perfectly. Captain Li Heian examined each group carefully. What happens if we cannot create a successful society, and this challenge ends in failure? Most species cannot handle such diversity. They try to force everyone to follow one set of rules, and the colony collapses within days. Dr. Park Mina smiled slightly. And what defines success? A stable society where all species contribute their strengths and live in peace? It has only been achieved 3 times in Confederacy history. Engineer Kimte opened his tablet and began accessing human cultural databases. Coordinator Vel watched with the same amused expression the other aliens had shown. "Are you consulting your primitive social systems again?" the coordinator asked. "Human society is very young and simple." "Actually, human society is quite old and complex," Dr. Park Mina replied politely. We have been learning to live together for thousands of years. She began designing a government system based on multiple human cultures. From ancient Korea, she borrowed the Horoang educational system that developed leaders through diverse training. From Greek democracy, she took the idea that all citizens should have a voice in decisions. From the Iroquois Great Law of Peace, she adopted the concept of separate nations working together under shared principles. From modern international diplomacy, she used methods for resolving conflicts between different cultures. Captain Li Hun studied each alien species and matched them with human historical examples. The Altarians remind me of Northern European societies that value individual achievement. The Felons are like warrior cultures from many human civilizations. The Polypians are similar to artistic communities throughout human history. Agent Eugene had been researching the Lithans. These slow-thinking people with perfect memory are like the keeper traditions in many human cultures. They preserve knowledge and wisdom for future generations. Dr. Park Mina began implementing her cultural system. Instead of creating one government for everyone, she established 5 separate communities that shared common resources and made decisions together. Each species would govern itself, according to its own customs and needs. But they would send representatives to a joint council for decisions that affected everyone. The council would meet in a central location designed to accommodate all species comfortably. For the Altarians who needed cold temperatures, she designated mountain communities with natural cooling. For the Felons who valued strength, she created hunting grounds and physical challenges. For the Polypians who loved art, she established cultural centers with perfect acoustics. For the Lithans who thought slowly, she built quiet libraries and meditation spaces. Coordinator Vel watched the human plan with growing confusion. You are creating separate societies instead of one unified colony. This will lead to conflict and division. Actually, it will prevent conflict, Dr. Park Mina explained. Humans learned long ago that diversity is strength, not weakness. When different groups try to preserve their identity, they contribute more to the whole community. She showed the coordinator examples from human history. Medieval trading cities where different cultures lived in separate quarters but worked together for mutual benefit. Modern multicultural nations where various ethnic groups maintained their traditions while sharing common goals. Agent U. Jin demonstrated the council system using United Nations principles. Each species gets equal representation, regardless of population size. Decisions require consensus, so everyone must agree or find compromise solutions. Captain Li Hyan explained the economic system based on comparative advantage principles that human economists had developed. Each species contributes what they do best. Altarians handle individual tasks requiring precision. Felons provide security. In exploration, Polypians create art and entertainment. Lithans preserve knowledge and give advice. Engineer Kim Tae showed how the infrastructure would support all species equally. Separate residential areas connected by transportation systems. Shared facilities designed with multiple species in mind. Communication networks that translated between different languages and thought patterns. Coordinator Vel studied the human plan carefully. This is not how Confederacy colonies work. We establish one system and require all species to adapt to it. That might explain why only 3 colonies have succeeded. Dr. Park Mina observed gently. The coordinator activated the simulation to test the human approach. The 5 species began settling in their designated communities. Initially, some conflicts arose as different groups misunderstood each other's customs. But the human system included conflict. Resolution methods borrowed from centuries of international diplomacy. When Felons accidentally frightened Polypians with loud hunting calls, the Joint Council created designated quiet zones and hunting schedules. When Altarians wanted to work alone while Lithans preferred group consultation, the Council established different work styles for different projects. When Polypians created beautiful art that Lithans found too stimulating, they developed separate cultural spaces connected by viewing galleries. Within days, the colony was not just functioning but thriving. Each species contributed its strengths. While learning from the others, Altarian precision improved felon hunting techniques. Polypian creativity inspired Lithan knowledge preservation. Lithan wisdom guided Altarian decision-making. Coordinator Vel stared at the simulation results in amazement. How did you know these solutions would work? Agent Yujin accessed her historical databases, because humans have tried these approaches. Before, we learned from thousands of years of both successful and failed attempts at multicultural societies. Dr. Park Mina showed the coordinator examples of human cultural achievements. The Silk Road trading networks that connected different civilizations, the Islamic Golden Age when scholars from many cultures worked together, modern international organizations that coordinate between different nations. Your species has experience. Managing cultural diversity? Coordinator Vel asked. Extensive experience, Captain Li Hian confirmed. Humans come from many different cultures ourselves. We learned that forcing everyone to be the same makes everyone weaker. Engineer Kim Tae displayed statistics from the simulation. The colony's productivity is 40% higher than standard Confederacy settlements. Cultural diversity created innovation and efficiency. Coordinator Vel examined the data with growing concern. The human approach had not just succeeded, but exceeded all previous records. The colony was more stable, more productive, and happier than any Confederacy settlement. But how do you maintain unity with so much diversity? The coordinator asked. Dr. Park Mina smiled. By focusing on shared goals instead of shared methods. Everyone wants safety, prosperity, and happiness for their families. How they achieve those goals can be different, but the goals themselves unite everyone. Agent Yujin added, human history taught us that differences make communities stronger when managed correctly. Uniformity makes communities fragile because they cannot adapt to change. The simulation ended with the colony celebrating its first harvest festival. All 5 species participated in their own ways, creating a celebration that was more beautiful and meaningful than any single culture could have produced alone. Coordinator Vel dismissed the human team with obvious reluctance. You have passed this challenge, but I do not understand how your methods work. They work because humans learn them through necessity, Captain Li Hayan explained. We had to learn to live with diversity because we are a diverse species ourselves. As the humans left the chamber, Coordinator Vel, Admiral Choi Wan stood in the resource management simulation chamber alongside Agent Yu Jin. This chamber was filled with complex displays showing hostile environments from across the galaxy. Deserts that burned with acid rain, frozen worlds, where the air itself was poisonous, and ocean planets covered by endless storms. Resource Manager Kex waited for them with obvious nervousness. This alien had green skin covered with scales and multiple eyes that moved independently. Unlike the previous challenge supervisors, Kex seemed worried instead of confident. Welcome to the 4th challenge, Manager, Kex said quietly. You must demonstrate your species' ability to survive in hostile environments using limited resources. The chamber transformed into a barren wasteland. Red sand stretched to the horizon under a sky that flickered with dangerous radiation. Air was thin and filled with toxic gases. Strange rock formations jutted from the ground like broken teeth. This is Survival World Delta, Kex explained. Your colony ship has crashed here with 100 survivors. You have basic tools, emergency supplies for 1 week, and whatever materials you can find on this planet. Agent Eugene examined their surroundings carefully. The landscape looked completely lifeless. No plants, no water sources, and no obvious shelter from the radiation storms that flashed across the sky. What is our goal? Admiral Choi Wan asked. Create a sustainable settlement that can support your people indefinitely. Most species die within days in these conditions. Admiral Choi Wan accessed his tablet and began reviewing human survival databases. Manager Kex watched nervously as the humans scrolled through what appeared to be extensive documentation. Your species has experience with hostile environments, Kex asked. Humans live on every continent of our planet, Admiral Choi Wan replied. We have survived in deserts, Arctic regions, mountains, swamps, and islands. We learned to adapt to places where no life should exist. He showed the alien manager examples of human settlement in impossible locations. Inuit peoples thriving in Arctic conditions where temperatures dropped far below freezing. Bedouin tribes creating sustainable communities in scorching deserts, Tibetan cultures flourishing at altitudes where the air was too thin for most life. Agent Yujin studied the available materials and began planning their approach. She drew upon survival techniques developed by human cultures over thousands of years. Aboriginal Australian methods for finding water in seemingly barren landscapes. Native American techniques for creating shelter using minimal materials. Polynesian knowledge of ocean survival and resource conservation. We will start by securing the basic needs, Admiral Choi Wan announced. Water, shelter, and food production. He applied lessons learned from human survival in extreme environments. Desert survival techniques taught by North African cultures showed how to extract moisture from the air and collect water from minimal sources. Arctic survival methods developed by northern peoples demonstrated how to create insulation and maintain body heat in hostile conditions. Agent Yujin used principles from sustainable agriculture developed by various human civilizations. Farming techniques from Asian mountain cultures that maximized food production in limited space. Hydroponic methods developed by modern humans that grew plants without soil. Permaculture principles that created self-sustaining food systems. Within hours, the human survivors had established a functioning base camp. They created water collection systems using condensation techniques learned from desert peoples. They built shelters using materials, science principles, combined with traditional construction methods from multiple cultures. Manager Kex watched in amazement as the humans transformed the hostile environment into a livable settlement. How do you know these techniques will work? Because humans have used them successfully for thousands of years, Admiral Choi Wan explained. Every technique we use has been tested by previous generations in similar conditions. Agent Yujin showed the alien manager historical examples. Human settlements in the Sahara Desert that lasted for centuries. Arctic communities that survived winter conditions worse than this planet. Island cultures that created sustainable societies using only local resources. Your species has survived in environments like this before? Manager Kex asked with growing alarm. Humans have survived in every environment on our planet, Agent Yujin confirmed. We learn to live anywhere by combining knowledge from all our cultures. The fourth challenge continued for several simulated days. The human settlement not only survived, but began to thrive. They established renewable energy systems using techniques adapted from multiple sources. They created manufacturing capabilities using principles from various human industries. They developed social systems that maintained morale and productivity. Under stress, Manager Kex reported the results to his superiors with obvious concern. The humans had not just survived impossible conditions, but had created a thriving colony using techniques their species had refined over millennia. Meanwhile, in another chamber, Agent Yujin faced the fifth and final challenge. Psychological. Evaluator Pax waited for her with visible anxiety. This alien had pale white skin and large black eyes that seemed to look directly into her thoughts. The final challenge tests psychological resilience, Evaluator Pax explained. You must endure extreme mental stress while maintaining rational decision-making abilities. The chamber became completely dark. Strange sounds echoed from invisible sources. The temperature fluctuated between freezing cold and burning heat. Disturbing images flashed in the darkness, designed to create fear and confusion. Most species break under this stress within minutes, Evaluator Pax warned. Those who survive usually become unable to think clearly. Agent Yujin closed her eyes and began applying mental resilience techniques learned from human history. Meditation practices developed by Buddhist monks who spent years in isolated mountain caves. Stress management methods used by soldiers throughout human conflicts. Psychological endurance techniques developed by explorers and survival experts. She drew upon the incredible mental strength demonstrated by humans throughout history. Concentration camp survivors who maintained hope under impossible conditions. Polar explorers who endured months of isolation and hardship. Prisoners of war who resisted interrogation and torture while protecting important information. The psychological attack continued for hours, but Agent Yujin remained calm and focused. She used breathing techniques from various human cultures. She applied mental discipline methods developed by martial artists and military personnel. She maintained emotional stability using psychological principles discovered by human researchers. Evaluator Pax watched the monitoring systems with growing disbelief. The human showed no signs of psychological breakdown. Her stress levels remained manageable, and her decision-making abilities actually improved under pressure. How is this possible? Evaluator Pax demanded. The mental stress should have destroyed her rational thinking. Agent Eugene opened her eyes and looked directly at the alien evaluator. Humans have faced psychological challenges like this throughout our history. We learn to endure by studying those who survived before us. She showed evaluator Pax examples of human psychological resilience. People who survived natural disasters by maintaining hope and clear thinking. Individuals who endured years of hardship without losing their sanity. Communities that faced extinction but refused to give up. Your species has experience with extreme psychological stress, Evaluator Pax asked weakly. Extensive experience, Agent Eugene confirmed. Human history is filled with examples of people surviving impossible mental challenges. We learned from every story of survival and endurance. Both challenges ended successfully, but the real drama was occurring in the Confederacy Command Center. The alien AI systems had completed their analysis of human historical databases. The results sent panic through the leadership. Overlord Vex stared at the reports in horror. Humans were not a typical developing species. They were survivors of thousands of extinction events, conquerors of every environment on their planet, and veterans of countless wars that had lasted for millennia. The AI revealed that humans had faced and overcome challenges that had destroyed other civilizations, ice ages that lasted thousands of years, volcanic eruptions that blocked the sun for decades, plagues that killed most of their population, natural disasters that should have ended their species. Instead of weakening them, each challenge had made humans stronger, more adaptable, and more innovative. They had developed technologies, strategies, and knowledge that surpassed anything the Confederacy had achieved. General Roth of the military faction realized the implications first. These challenges were not tests, he announced to the emergency council meeting. They were training exercises. We just taught humanity everything they need to know about our technology, psychology, and weaknesses. Commander Nix added his own alarming observations. Their military knowledge spans thousands of years. They have studied every form of warfare and perfected strategies we have never encountered. Chief Engineer Zoel contributed more disturbing news. Our technology builds upon accumulated knowledge from their entire history. They can innovate faster than we can develop countermeasures. Social Coordinator Vel delivered the final blow. The main conference chamber aboard the alien mothership had never hosted an emergency meeting like this one. Overlord Vex sat at the head of a circular table surrounded by every major leader in the Confederacy expedition. The air hummed with tension as holographic displays showed data that made even experienced alien commanders look worried. Captain Lee Hoon entered the chamber with his complete human team. Dr. Park Mina, Engineer Kim Tae, Agent Eugene, and Admiral Choi Won walked beside him with calm confidence. They had passed all 5 challenges, but the atmosphere felt more like a funeral than a celebration. Congratulations, Overlord Vex said slowly. Humanity has successfully completed all challenges. According to our agreement, Earth is now eligible for full membership in the Galactic Confederacy. The words should have been joyful, but Overlord Vex spoke them like a death sentence. The other alien leaders around the table looked equally grim. Captain Lee Hoon smiled politely. Thank you, Overlord Vex. We are honored to join your alliance. However, Overlord Vex continued, new information has come to our attention. Information that changes everything. Dr. Park Mina tilted her head slightly. What kind of information, Commander? Nix activated a holographic display that showed human historical data. Images of ancient battles, technological developments, and cultural achievements filled the air above the table. During your challenges, our AI systems analyzed your species. Historical records, Commander Nix explained. What we discovered is deeply concerning. Agent Eugene remained calm. Concerning in what way? Chief Engineer Zol leaned forward. Your species is not what we expected. You're not a young civilization that recently achieved space travel. You are something else entirely. Engineer Kim Tae looked around the table at the worried alien faces. What exactly have you discovered about U.S. Social Coordinator? Vel spoke next, her musical voice trembling slightly. You are survivors. Your entire species has spent thousands of years facing challenges that would destroy other civilizations. The holographic display showed human history in fast motion. Ice ages, volcanic eruptions, plagues, wars, natural disasters, and countless other threats that humanity had survived and overcome. Every challenge made you stronger, Resource Manager Kex added. Every disaster taught you new survival skills. Every war advanced your strategies and technologies. Psychological evaluator Pax contributed his own findings. Your mental resilience comes from generations of people who survived impossible psychological stress. You have built your entire culture around endurance and adaptation. Admiral Choi Wan listened to their concerns with growing amusement. You saying that our history worries you? Your history terrifies us, Overlord Vex admitted, because it shows us what your species does when faced with superior opponents. The holographic display changed to show examples of human persistence hunting. Ancient humans tracking large animals for days until the prey collapsed from exhaustion. The same pattern repeated throughout human history in different forms. General Roth stood up from his seat. We have made a terrible mistake. These challenges were not tests of your worthiness. They were intelligence-gathering operations that we conducted on ourselves. Captain Lee Hayen raised an eyebrow. Intelligence gathering? You learned everything about our technology during the engineering challenge, Chief Engineer Zola explained. You studied our military tactics during the strategy test? You analyzed our social weaknesses during the cultural challenge?
Agent.
Eugene smiled slightly. We learned what you taught us. That is exactly the problem, Commander Nick said. We taught you everything you need to know to defeat us. Dr. Parkmina looked genuinely curious. Why would that concern you?
We want
to join your alliance, not fight against it. Overlord Vex activated another display showing human technological development patterns. Because your species does not just learn, you improve everything you learn. You take knowledge and make it better. The display showed how humans had consistently taken existing technologies and enhanced them beyond their original capabilities. From simple tools to complex machines, every human innovation built upon previous knowledge while pushing boundaries further. According to our projections, Chief Engineer Zoll continued, you will not just use Confederacy technology. You will improve it, adapt it, and probably surpass us within a few years. Engineer Kim Tae shrugged. Is that bad? Technology benefits everyone. Not if you decide that the galaxy needs better management, General Roth said grimly. The alien leaders exchanged worried glances. Agent Eugene noticed their fear and decided to address it directly. Are you afraid that humans will try to conquer the Confederacy? We are afraid that you will succeed. Overlord Vex replied honestly. Admiral Choi Wan leaned back in his chair. Let me understand this correctly. You invited us to join your alliance through a series of challenges. We passed those challenges using knowledge and skills our species has developed over thousands of years. Now you are worried because we demonstrated competence. You demonstrated more than competence, Social Coordinator Vel said. You demonstrated superiority in every area we tested. Dr. Parkmina accessed her tablet and showed the aliens their own challenge results. Our military strategy exceeded your expectations. Our technology solved problems your engineers could not handle. Our cultural systems work better than your standard approaches. That is why we are concerned, Commander Nix admitted. Superior species do not usually remain subordinate to inferior ones. Captain Lee Hoon stood up and walked around the table looking at each alien leader. You are right to be concerned, but not for the reasons you think. Explain, Overlord, Vex demanded. You are afraid we will conquer you. But that fear reveals something important about how your Confederacy really works. Agent Eugene joined Captain Lee Hoon. Your alliance is not based on cooperation between equals. It is based on the strong controlling the weak. Engineer Kimtae accessed the cultural data they had gathered during the challenges. Every test assumed that superior technology or ability meant the right to dominate others. You never considered true partnership. Dr. Parkmina added her observations. Your confederacy maintains order through hierarchy and control. The strong species rule while the weak species obey. Admiral Choi Wan delivered the final analysis. You are afraid of humans, because you cannot imagine a species with superior capabilities choosing cooperation over domination. The alien leader sat in stunned silence as the humans revealed how much they had learned about Confederacy politics and social structure. Overlord Vex finally spoke. Are you saying you do not want to rule the Confederacy? Bay suit, Captain Lee Han smiled. We are saying that your question reveals why your alliance has problems. True strength comes from cooperation, not domination. Agent Eugene showed them examples from human history. Our strongest societies were built when different groups worked together while maintaining their independence. Our weakest periods came when one group tried to control all others. Dr. Parkmina explained human partnership principles. We learned that lasting alliances require mutual respect and shared benefits. Domination creates resistance and eventual rebellion. Engineer Kimtae demonstrated with technical examples. Our best innovations came from combining knowledge from different sources. No single group had all the answers. Admiral Choi Wan addressed the core issue. You fear human capabilities because you assume we think like you do. But humans survived by learning to turn diversity into strength, not by conquering everything. We encountered. Overlord Vex looked around the table at his fellow leaders. What are you proposing? Captain Lee Han returned to his seat. We propose that the Confederacy learn something from humanity. Stop thinking of membership as subordination. Start thinking of it as partnership. But what happens when disagreements arise? General Roth asked. Superior species naturally make decisions for inferior ones. Agent Eugene shook her head. That assumption is why your alliance has internal problems. Disagreements are solved through discussion and compromise, not domination. We developed systems for resolving conflicts between different groups without anyone losing their independence. Engineer Kimtae added technical perspective. Complex problems require diverse approaches. One species alone cannot handle every challenge the galaxy presents. Overlord Vex studied the human proposals carefully. You want to change how the entire Confederacy operates? Admiral Choi Wan nodded. We want to improve it. Human history taught us that organizations grow stronger when they adapt and learn. The alien leaders discussed the human proposals in their own languages for several minutes. Finally, Overlord Vex spoke again. What if we refuse these changes? What if we decide humanity is too dangerous for Confederacy membership? Captain Lee Han's expression remained calm, but his words carried quiet strength. Then you will have made an enemy instead of gaining an ally. Are you threatening us? General Roth demanded. I am stating facts, Captain Lee Han replied. Human history shows what happens when people try to contain us after we have learned what we need to know. Agent Eugene supported his statement with historical examples. Every attempt to limit human development has failed. We adapt, we learn, and we find ways to achieve our goals. Dr. Parkmina added cultural context. Humans do not